I did. I walked down a ways, and Nuria, who went on a tour yesterday, she was sharing with me that we think that the Anastasi ruins were built into the middle of a cliff and that they had to walk all the way up and all the way down, and I'm sure there was some of that, but her guide said that these canyons are wearing away every year, and they are changing shape every year, and the reason that the ruins look that high is because so much was worn away over time, and that they really were much closer to the ground at the time that they were created. So I was pondering that, and I found a place in the wall of the rock that was scooped out by the wind and by the rain, like a half cave, you could think about it, and sat down there. And I see why the seers and the shaman of the past went up to places like that, because it's not that you close your eyes and are totally within, although that's an option, but when your eyes are open, you see things in a new way. And it's absolutely silent, and yet you can hear every sound as if it has become crystalline and is right there with you. So somehow it was a very purifying experience to be in that place of quiet, and yet there was sound. And I was looking out over the canyon, and I see why there are those that say that the rocks are alive and awake, because you could, it seemed like there were faces, and the faces were witnessing the wholeness of life. So clearly we are in a very sacred place here. Almost as if nature is showing her beauty to us. And using all five senses, and then the inner senses as well. So I've been very deeply touched by this place. If you look down at the top of these canyons, everything is brown, and there are these small trees, these trees, and also these bushes that I wish I knew the name of, that are beautiful, and they're making the landscape not desert. Somehow it's not desert, it's just beautiful. And when you start going down, you have a picture of a canyon that is green. It's green all along the bottom, and there's a river running through it. And it's like magical. Like I could see where somebody coming here 1,000 years ago would find that place and say, this is Shangri-La, because it's so different. And the quality of the air and of sound, just the texture of life there, really shifts. It doesn't take long going down into the canyon to feel that shift. It reminds me of this experience that I just had down there, sitting in that semi-cave area. I was looking at the sky, because the sky is an incredible color blue here. And in that same way of somehow a more crystalline reality, not that it's not the same reality we share, but just somehow the quality of it is clearer. I was looking at the sky, and we see the sky usually as blue, but this sky had purple in it. It had indigo in it. It had a light, a colorless light in it. And it had a depth that we don't usually think about when we look at the sky. There was clearly a depth to it. And it's like sitting there, I could feel that we are sitting on this living being that's dancing through the universe. That space, that even though we can't see the stars here, that spaciousness is still there. And it's a very healing feeling, because you find, when with that reflection of space, then you find the spaciousness within yourself, and it also is healed and cleared and takes on that crystalline quality that happens when they're in the stuff of life is somehow processed. That there's been a true digestion of the psyche and the mind, of the perception of safeness and wholeness in relationships. Here, there's just the one whole. It's very beautiful. So I hope I'm conveying this to you who are listening, that that same spaciousness that we've seen reflected here it's inside as well. That those mountains and mesas and great expanses, they're inside as well. And they, of their very nature, can easily process the impressions of a difficult day. The impressions of a world that holds both beauty and great, great, great pain. And I think that's what's being asked of us right now, that each one of us find a way to stretch, and rather than only seeing the beauty and ignoring the great pain, or only seeing the great pain and not leaving space for the beauty, that somehow we're being called upon to stretch and hold the whole. And it's not easy. Of course it's not easy. And yet it's the way that we will find the place where we connect as one huge reality. Yesterday we went out into a remote area and met a medicine man at a store and gas station that was far away from anything. And then he had us follow him back up into onto a mesa, about a mile and a half down a very bumpy road. And we went up onto this mesa where he had a sweat that he was preparing for us. And it was a sweat for women and men, which is different. There are some sweats that are just for men here. We went inside and went through this process of 4 times being in the sweat, very dark, pitch black, no light at all, with these heated rocks. I'm sure some of you have been to a sweat, and so you know what that is. In this case, each time there was time for us to say what we wanted to say, to be purified, and then to pray. And in the prayer, the sound in the sweat, because there were people with different languages speaking at the same time, it was I don't know, it was amazing. So there was that sound, and then there was the sound of the medicine man who also prayed. And we felt that the impressions that were difficult were somehow being digested and processed. And then there came a point when he said to us, usually when I bring people from the outside into a sweat, I give them an experience, but it's very much of a surface experience, and somehow that's not happening here. And it's true. I mean, we started out praying individually for ourselves because that's what was asked, but then the self somehow transformed, and we were praying for the greater self, the self of this world, the various places and situations and the great needs of the day. And then the balance came where we began to pray in line with the beauty. And somehow it all made sense. Somehow it all fit, honoring the great suffering, the horrible pain of the places that are suffering, and also honoring the beauty. And so we were left with a wholeness, a kind of wholeness that makes one strong, where the mind doesn't have to ignore what's real, and yet can also see beauty. I feel like on this journey, each one of us in our own way are finding that place that is difficult and stretching, letting it heal, letting it purify. The places we go, we don't go to share something, we don't go to teach something, we don't go to somehow make a change. We go to be. And in that being, miracles are happening. I'm without words to describe this because, in a way, it's ridiculous. You know, there's chaos and craziness, and it seems like everything's going around in circles, and then there's this amazing breakthrough and a miraculous moment, and that kind of clarity and beauty and wholeness that doesn't come often. And then we're in that crystalline space again, but not down in a canyon, in the vastness of the web of life.
And it often comes with those challenges that we have on this journey.
Yeah, there's challenges every day. And it's very much like the life each one of us leads. There's challenges and you don't see a way out and you think, this is horrible. And yet, if you hold steady, if you keep waiting for the way, or some people might think of it as the lesson, or a new perspective, or just hold on, just keep holding, making space, letting there be space in the holding for something new, then you find yourself in a new way. And that energy that seems so crazy and chaotic becomes like the negative pole of a battery that's helping the whole to charge, to have a new kind of energy, an energy that comes from a breakthrough, from what was into the realm of new possibility. And then possibility becomes actuality. This is the challenge of the day. Can we do it? I think we can. All of us, I think we can. When you let go of measuring, and I think the ego wants to measure, where do I stand in the situation that I'm in right now? Do I get it? Do I not get it? Do I get it more than the other person? Am I higher or lower? Am I better or am I worse? In the craziness of life, we're taught, even physiologically, to be always assessing safety. And so our inclination is to this measuring. When you let go of that and you look at another person as an equal, not better, not worse, not exactly the same, they're the unique them, just like you're a unique you. But when you leave space for that unique them to be beautiful, to be perfect, and that it doesn't have anything to do with your unique you, that you are also beautiful and perfect and you're where you're at, then something happens. Because instead of this measuring that makes people feel isolated, makes people, if somebody does well, you think you've done poorly. Does their good job mean you didn't do a good job? That disappears. And when that disappears, there's an embrace that happens because we are truly in it together. Then somebody else's great success becomes your success. You're happy for it. And when somebody's sad, you're not taking care of them as like the better person, taking care of, oh, that poor soul who just really is having a hard time. There, you've screwed up. But instead, it's a true embrace of love. Here, brother, here, sister, can I be a support to you? And that person will feel it. They'll feel that connection. And they'll be safe with you. And they'll reveal their secret because they know you will never tell. The we happens when we relax, this constant vigilance. It's not that you're not alert. Of course you're alert. But it's a new kind of alertness that also has a relaxed place where we're in it together. And life becomes clearer. Your vision will be clearer, your hearing will be clearer.
They're aware of visual, but they're not aware of audio.
That's okay.
It happens. It's not a big
It's
thing.
okay.
We got
It's nice to hear them.
Yeah,
It's nice to hear us all in the back.
the laughing children and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Mary, you need your partner. Here, come get Tefeki. Okay, good. Another thing that happens when the we is on is you can say to somebody, wait for your partner, and they're not going to think, that person's telling me what to do. They're going to think, oh, there's another part of the wholeness of me reminding me to take care. And then there's gratitude instead of stress. Yeah. So if you're conveying upon God a mode of knowing, and that mode is physical, it feels physical, it's like, when there's pain, or when there's joy. Isn't that an interesting thing? Because it brings God right here. It brings the voice of God all around us. And this is the we.
Yeah, everything that's done is from this we. And there's actually nothing done in a sense. One is just being
You just relax.
present.
Let there be space there.
But listening to this.
Of course.
Listening
And
to
sometimes in the listening, there's wisdom. Sometimes in the listening, there's something that needs to be healed. There's an old pain. And when that old pain is there, it's almost like you're talking to a child that lives within you, an innocent child that has suffered. And that suffering could be a personal thing that happened earlier in your life. Sometimes that suffering is a genetic history, things that have happened to your ancestors that still haven't been resolved. And so chemically, it's in there. And you find in research now, science is proving that we do have chemicals within us that are passed on because the cellular structure is changed by these very, very deep impressions. It's not just something of the mind or something of the heart. It physiologically changes us. We know so little about the endocrine system and about the
DNA.
The DNA, thank you. We know so little about it. So little, we just know a few places along this huge chain that are turned on, but each one of us is carrying our history. The indigenous people, have you noticed that every place we go, we hear about our ancestors? I think that there is something that had been forgotten over time through the centuries, the many, many, many centuries, that is part of the indigenous wisdom. And that is that we do carry the pain of our ancestors and we can heal it. And when you listen to that place in you that sometimes comes up, whether it be in your gut or your heart or your throat or someplace else, and offer it a glance of healing, you're not just healing what you are feeling in your own body, you are healing your ancestors back through time. So I'm not just saying this is my direct experience. This is something that anybody can experience. So I really encourage anybody who is looking at this to try turning a loving presence on those places of suffering as if you were turning towards an innocent child that's still inside of you. The Maori teaching that in each one of us is a loving mother, a kind father, and an innocent child. That's where this comes in really handy. Let that loving mother, kind father part of you turn towards that place of suffering and give it a glance of love, of kindness. Let it heal. And you don't have to do it alone. There is the whole of the universe. There is the whole healing aspect of the universe that's just waiting for you to ask for help. Whether you think about it as the universe or God or the ancestors or energy or something else, just turn towards it and ask for help and see what happens.
When you find yourself reacting or taking things personally or feeling alienated, what can we do to move forward into our vaster, more spacious being?
Well, I'll give you some things. One thing you can do is go out and run. Just do something physical. If you can't go do something physical, then put on some music that brings you to joy. And that will help to unravel that intensity. But eventually you still have to deal with the cause behind that effect. Personally, I always take the easy way. I have become friends with the healing power of the universe. That's how I'll call it. You can call it whatever you want. I've become friends, and not only friends, is I have great gratitude for the presence of that enormous support. And I ask for help. There are times that things are so bad, I just ask for help and I lie down and close my eyes and go to sleep. There have been pains that I've felt in my body or my mind or in a relationship that there just doesn't seem any way out, or when I hear of some horrible suffering in the world and I don't know how to hold it, and it's beyond what I could have conceived. There are times that I just ask for help. I call out. and then I go to sleep. And sometimes when I wake up, the answer's there. Sometimes I wake up and I go out into my life and the answer's there. Sometimes I have no idea if there was an answer, and 5 years later I find out something happened. Sometimes I never know. But somehow I feel better. And I go on faith that that's good enough, because now I can continue to do what I was put here to do.